Kelly, and thanks for joining me today. The other day I asked ChatGPT to design a crocheted hat pattern for me, and I didn't record it because frankly I didn't expect it to be so much fun or so ridiculous, but it was. And so today I've asked it to help me design an applique to add to my hat. So first off, let me show you this masterpiece that it created. This is my hat. I believe it was a bottom-up hat. It's not closed at the top. Oh my God, it's not even frame. I cannot stop laughing when I put this thing on. It's hysterical. We started with making the band and then we worked our way up, and there were plenty of mistakes in there, so this is my interpretation of as close as I could get. I actually wonder what happens if we... No, that doesn't work. But anyway, I thought this looked a little bit bland, and we're going to try to get an applique to match. Okay, I printed out the instructions that the chatbot gave me, and I think we're going to just attempt all of them. I've got all my yarn here. I noticed it didn't tell me what size hook to use, so I'm just going to kind of wing it. Let's start with the red heart. This is worsted weight scrap yarn, and I think since it's worsted weight, I'm going to try using a size G hook because that seems pretty standard. So let's see how these instructions go. Magic circle, frankly, I hate magic circle. I'm not going to do it. I'm going to do a chain 2 and work my stitches into the second chain from the hook. That's just the way I like to do it. 6 HDC into the circle, slip stitch to join. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I think this might end up being easier if I had some stitch markers. Let me grab some. Okay, so I've done my 6. I'm going to slip stitch into the top of the first one. 1, 2, 3, 4. That one. See why I wanted stitch markers? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Slip stitch. All right, round 2. 2 half doubles in each half double around. Slip stitch to join. It's nice in my yarn to make everything easy. So I'm chaining 2. Doesn't specify whether my chain 2 counts as a stitch, but since we're putting 2 in each of the 6 stitches with an ending of 12, I'm going to assume that it does not count. Which if I were going to do that, I would have just made it a chain 1, be less bulky, but we're going to do what Chatbot says today. 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. 2. I'm glad it gave me half double crochets to work with. This is my favorite stitch. It's tall enough that it's easy to see, but small enough it makes a nice solid stitch. I didn't tell it I liked that. Just a nice coincidence. So what do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Got all my stitches. Slip stitch to close. Round 3, chain 2, half double in the next, 2 half double in the next, repeat around for a total of 18. Somehow, I'm not sure, this is going to look very heart-shaped when we're done, but we are going to follow the instructions. All right, there's my solitary half double crochet, and then I'm going to do a double in this one. I tend to count these in my head, even though it's probably confusing for someone listening to me, as single when I'm doing a solitary one and double when I'm doubling up into the same stitch. And I've done that for so long, I can't really train my brain to count it differently. So here we are doing a single and a double, even though we're not doing a single or a double. All right, just a few more. All right, double. Let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Got my stitch count. All right, slip stitch to join, fasten off and weave in ends. I think I take my stitch marker out to do this. I don't know about you. I don't think this looks very much like a heart. That's all right. I'll do the ends off camera, that's boring. All right, well, there's the first one. Now let's try the chunky flower applique using the variegated bulky weight yarn. So let me go get a bulky weight yarn appropriate hook. Okay, I'm gonna use a J. All right. Again, it wants to start with the magic circle and I have no intention of doing that. So we're gonna do chain 2 and then chain 2, which I can skip, and then just do 10 half double crochet into the circle. It's nice of it again to give me my favorite stitch. And remember, I did tell Chatbot exactly how many grams of this I had, just not very many. So hopefully we have enough. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10's right? 10. Slip stitch to join. All right, round 2, chain 2. Half double in the next stitch. Does it mean the next stitch and that the chain 2 counts as a stitch? Doesn't really say, but that's how I'm going to interpret that. All right, chain 2 counts as a stitch. Let's put my stitch marker in there so I don't forget that's what I decided to do. All right, 2 half double crochet in the next stitch, repeat from star to star around. There's no stars. So let's just assume they go here and here, which would be similar to what it asked me to do for this one, which is basically a solitary half double, 2 half doubles all the way around to make a pretty standard circle. Just again, we're not making a circle. Okay, so there's 2 together, solitary 1, together. Single 1, 2 of them, single 2 of them. Oops. I don't know where this yarn came from. It's pretty. It's been in my scrap pile for a really long time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16. Should have 15. Not going to worry about that. And then we will slip into that chain 2, which I decided we're going to call a stitch. Which I hate working into the chains. There we go. All right, round 3, chain 1, single in the next stitch, which in this case, I'm going to say that that single does not count as a stitch because it's super rare that I've ever encountered that happens. All right, so mark that one. Half double in the next. Double crochet in the next. Half double in the next, single crochet in the next, repeat from star to star around, which again, there are no stars, but I'm going to do single, half, double, half, single, because that's probably what it means. Single, half, double, half, single, single, half, double, half, single, single, half, double. Okay, is that even 15 stitches? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Did I slip in an extra stitch here at the end? I think I did. All right, here we go. There's my flower. Applique. Very flower-like. All right, what's next? Oh, I should specifically use the light tan worsted weight yarn to add that on because that'll match greatly. All right, button embellishment. Using the black buttons, sew them in a vertical line down the front of the hat using sewing needle and thread. Or the brown and tan buttons. You know, that's the first one that it's done a really good suggestion on. I do like buttons in a line down a hat. All right, this one's going to be interesting. Using the olive green sport weight yarn, crochet a small tassel. Cut a length of yarn and fold it in half. How much yarn should we use? What is our length? How about this amount that came off the thing? Okay, fold it in half. Okay, fold it in half. Holding both ends together, insert the crochet hook into a stitch on the top of the hat and pull the folded yarn through, okay? Ooh. Okay, holding both ends together, insert the crochet hook into a stitch on the top of the hat and pull the folded yarn through. Okay. Make a loop with the folded yarn and insert the ends through the loop and pull tight. Okay. That's a successful tassel. Cut 20 pieces of the medium brown pony beads and thread them onto the olive green yarn. I don't believe that I have any tools that will cut my pony beads into 20 pieces. But what we could do is use them in full. And since it says to create a second tassel on the other side of the hat, I'm going to use half the beads and thread them onto the yarn. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10. All right. Threading both ends together. It doesn't specifically say to do only one or the other, so I'm going to go with both, which is a little tricky. . Got both my lengths of yarn threaded on. I'm going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let's do 8 because I'm not sure how many I told it I had, or how many I actually have. Tie a knot at the bottom of the tassel to secure the beads in place. Okay, that makes sense. So do that. Tie a nice couple of knots because those are big beads. Yeah, those aren't going anywhere. All right, repeat these steps to create a second tassel. All right, this time let's cut a different length of yarn because again, it didn't say how much. That looks great. All right, holding the ends together. I'm going to attach it to the other side of the hat. Pull the ends through. Two, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Did 8, right? All right. Tying a knot. Oh, not a big enough knot. Those wanted to slide right off there. Too bad it didn't tell me to tie a very large knot. Although I really thought I did. Keep going. There we go. All right. So let me weave in all my ends and attach all my decorations to my hat. Are you ready to see this masterpiece with my embellishments? I haven't put it on yet. I'm really excited. Oh, where's my other tassel? There we go. There's my tassels, my heart, my buttons, my flower. I can't even get it all in the frame. This is amazing. Thanks, ChatGPT. I love my hat. Might wear it to Fashion Week.